All right, players. Before we press start on today's episode, it's time to give a big retro shout out to our top tier supporters, keeping the pixels glowing and the cartridges clean. At the 64-bit Legend tier, these are the final bosses of support. Much love to Oriok, Zero, and Mr. Arkansas. Over in the 16-bit Adventurer tier, our heroic party includes Tetrafali, Gage P, and Marcus Q. You're powering us up big time. And at the 8-bit Explorer tier, give it up for the classic crew. Wabi Yerd, Where Kun Warden, Gaming Quarterly, and Big Nick Dika. Keeping it old school and awesome. You legends are the cheat code to keeping this show running. Thank you all for your incredible support. I'll keep grinding to bring you content worthy of your high scores. Now grab your controller, hit that start button, and let's jump into the episode.
Hey there! Welcome to Retro Reloaded. I'm your host Lance, and each week I tackle a retro game shaped by your picks. If you want a chance to choose next week's game or unlock exclusive bonus episodes and polls, join me on Patreon at patreon.com/retroreloaded. There's even a free tier to dip your toes in. Big thanks for all of your love and support. It means the world to me. Now let's hit the start button and reload those retro vibes.
History of Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Originally released in arcades in 1998 as Gauntlet Legends, and later expanded into Gauntlet Dark Legacy in 2000-2001, this hack-and-slash dungeon crawler was Midway's modern revival of the classic 1985 Gauntlet. The Dark Legacy version added 4 new realms, additional characters, and fresh enemies. It saw releases on Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube, cementing itself as a chaotic multiplayer favorite for couch co-op fans. Known for its addictive gameplay loop, fight, loot, level up, it became a staple in arcades and living rooms alike. Plot of Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Players are summoned to defend the 8 realms from the evil sorcerer Garm, who has unleashed havoc after assembling the pieces of the sacred runestone. Guided by the benevolent wizard Sumner, heroes must collect the 13 runes, defeat deadly bosses, and seal away the darkness once again. While the story is secondary to the gameplay, it provides just enough fantasy flair to keep players engaged between epic dungeon crawls.
All right, with all of that stuff out of the way, we have he's back from doing, well, how can I say this? He hasn't done a Retro Reloaded episode yet, but he has done a side quest episode with us before, and I actually ended up playing Gauntlet Dark Legacy with Jaymz this past week, which was really super fun. We actually played a multiplayer version of the game, a net play, through Dolphin, so it was actually really cool that we were able to link up and do multiplayer. Unfortunately, we couldn't do multiple runs. We were only able to do like one day. However, I did continue to play the game later on in the week with a couple of others. But yeah, welcome on, Jaymz. Thanks for coming back to the show. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me back. I'm excited.
Heck yeah. So Gauntlet Dark Legacy, this was a game that was actually submitted by you via the retro roster. Can I ask why you submitted Gauntlet out of all the games you could have chose?
I think it's just because I have such good memories with it, and I feel it's a game that, honestly, I feel a lot of people don't really know.
Okay.
Everyone I talk to about it, everyone's like, wait, what's that game? And then you gotta kind of explain it and show pictures, and still people don't know.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of people, like when they see it, they kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like when they see it, they kind of know, only because it was originally an arcade game, right? Is that where it kind of started?
Yeah, and like I've actually seen the cabinet at our local barcade where, 4 people can stand around it and play 4 different characters.
Oh, so you still have one in your town? That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I don't know anywhere that I don't think there's anywhere around here. We do have an arcade in the next town over, but it's not very big, so I highly doubt they have this game. I had never been in there though. I don't even know if they have any older games at all. I think it's, who knows. But anyways, yeah, so Gauntlet Dark Legacy, can you kind of tell us about like what, how you got started with this game, maybe like a childhood memory with it?
Yeah, so I'm 28, so when the game came out on PS2, I was fairly young, and I actually borrowed it from a family friend. And me and my dad actually started playing it. And my dad, who had off in the wintertime, during wintertime, I'd come home and we'd just play till pretty much dinner time. And we played through the game 1 year. Following year, we went back, chose new characters, and played through the game again.
Okay, that's really cool. So you got to play the game with your dad.
Yeah, it was really awesome just playing through it with him and leveling up. And it's funny, we played and you saw how like you can get treasure and food and everything, and balancing that out between two players was hard enough. Yeah. And you steal the gold every once in a while, and you get yelled at like, "Hey, I don't have as much gold. Why'd you take that from me?" It's like, it was my key.
Yeah. So loot is like, in this game, for anybody who hasn't played it, the way the loot works is that there's only like the loot on the screen, like one. Well, it depends, because there's certain items that everybody shares, and then there's other items that nobody shares. So if a player goes and grabs those items that's like nobody shares, and for example, they have full life, but they go grab food, it's like, dude, what are you doing? You're taking our food. We need that. Like, it's kind of messy. You
Right.
have to. It's a balancing act, and you have to be. If you're playing with people, you kind of want to be like cooperative and generous. Of course, if you have those like a loot goblin, as we call them, then the game can become a lot more difficult and a lot harder to play if you have people who are just taking everything. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah, and something I noticed, like versus when the four of us played versus like just me doing it solo, or even with just me and my dad, they actually do have more items, more treasure, and more enemies with the more players you had, I noticed.
Yeah, I think they have to. I mean, they would have to, because otherwise it gets just too it gets too hard to share everything. It would be difficult if you only had imagine just having like one player's worth of loot. Everybody would be fighting the entire time, or people would be dying. It would just be a chaos. So
and that's why there's the setting for PvP.
Does the monster number increase, or do the monsters get harder with more players?
That's what it seemed like, just from playing with you guys versus when I went back and played by myself for like that one level that kept crashing.
Okay, yeah, okay, interesting. Did you go? Oh, so you did? You went back and played by yourself after we stopped?
Yeah, I was able to get through that one level. So
that's so interesting. What's funny, Jaymz, is that later on that week, you were the crasher when we first played. After me, it was just me, Sonny, and was it Drew? Wait, me, Sonny, and
Auriok.
Auriok. It was Auriok. When we all played together, I was actually the crasher after you left. So like I started but mine was kind of weird, because it wasn't like on a certain level. It was just like random. Like it didn't make any sense. Like it would just crash. So I don't.
Interesting.
I think it's either the net plays buggy or the game's buggy. We don't really know, or the Dolphins buggy. We don't really know which one it was, but it was kind of an interesting. Because for anybody listening, when one person crashes on the net play on the Dolphin, everybody crashes and the game doesn't get saved. So you have to like replay the level or whatever. So that was kind of a pain in the butt, but I don't really blame the game for that. I think that's more of just it's kind of what we were working with. It's not like we could get together, because we're in different parts of the states. So, or even I think maybe some people might be in Canada. I don't know, but we're in all different parts of the states, and it's not like we can just meet up and be like, hey, let's all play Gauntlet. So this is our way of doing that. But it worked out.
And also you need like for me, it's like a PS2 plus a multi-tap and 4 working PS2 controllers still.
Yeah. If you're doing the PS2 version, you're going to need the multi-tap and all the controllers. And Yeah, it's just, I mean, even getting 4 controllers for like the GameCube is still like kind of hard. They're not cheap. They're not super cheap. I mean, they're not super expensive, but they're not cheap either. So,
yeah, no, they're not.
Yeah. So this
the price
game
we pay for retro gaming.
Yeah, so this game came out in 98 in the arcades, and then it finally released in 2000 and 2001 for the consoles. And so, you know, people got to... Do you know the differences between the arcade version and the console versions? Do you know?
So from just my experience, the arcade version, you have, I think it's blue, red, yellow, green. And I believe it's like each of those colors is one specific character. Whereas like on the console version, we were able to choose our color and our character. So we were able to have like green wizard, green jester, blue knight, and I think red warrior were the 4 we played with. Where the arcade, I think it was like red wizard, yellow warrior, blue dwarf, and green jester or whatever. So it's like the characters are set on the arcade cabinet, where in the console you can choose what character you're playing and what color.
Okay, so that was a big deal. Sonny also mentioned something, and I don't know if this is true or not, but he said that the second world on the console versions is actually the first world on the arcade versions. Is that true? Do you know?
I think it is, because I remember the arcade version, the first world is much more dungeony looking, which would align with the mountains of the second world on the console version.
Okay. Yeah, because Sonny's an interesting character. If anybody's listening to the show and they've heard Sonny talk before, he's got like this knowledge base of stuff on video games in his head. He just is able to like come out with these random facts about any random game you could think of. like you name a game, for some reason Sonny has information about it. It's like kind of wild. It's pretty cool.
It is really cool, honestly.
Yeah, it's like a really unique ability that he's like an encyclopedia. So yeah, this game is interesting because I think it had a profound impact on the co-op gaming scene for the consoles. Do you kind of feel the same way?
Yeah, I do, because actually I was thinking about it. Like, again, I played the PS2 version. It's like I needed the multi-tap to play with multiple people. I don't really know many games on the PS2 that the multi-tap was really used for. You know what I mean? Like, I think I bought the multi-tap so I could play more than 2 people on Gauntlet.
Yeah. The only other game I can think of is maybe like Time Splitters. Did the multi-tap work there or something? I don't really...
Yeah, that, and maybe like the first, like one of the early Call of Duty games.
Yeah, I got the multi-tap when I was a teenager, but I remember asking for it. I just don't remember why. And it wasn't for Time Splitters. It was for a game, and it wasn't for Gauntlet either. I remember being like, I really want the multi-tap, Mom, and she ended up getting it. And it was like $50, I think, for this dang thing. It's expensive. It wasn't cheap. The multi-tap was like really expensive for some reason. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, because it's specialty hardware. Of course it's expensive.
Yeah, it was expensive. It was like $50 for this little adapter so you can get up to 4 players. I don't remember the game. I don't remember why I wanted it, but we ended up getting it, and I was really happy about it. Yeah, so this game had a mad impact on the co-op gaming scene. This is a game that I think kind of set precedent. Like, if you go into Steam, I feel like you can find a lot of games that try to maybe mimic this type of Gauntlet Dark Legacy. If you've never seen the game before, it's like a top-down. It does not quite like Diablo, but your character's a little bit closer than I would say than Diablo 2, and you have one camera. And then when there's 4 players on the screen, you each share a camera and you share the screen. And it's kind of like, I don't even know how you explain it. Your characters like shoot missiles constantly, you know, and they have melee attacks. What would you describe this game as? Like what genre?
I mean, I feel it would be like just top-down RPG. And I feel it has some elements of JRPGs with like the life totals and like life total, treasure total, and the top-down view.
Okay. Yeah.
You know,
like,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say like ARPG, kind of like an action RPG, kind of like the Diablo series, but it's not quite. It's not quite as involved with the stats. So the way that the stats work in this game is that like every 10 levels you get a new. First of all, you like upgrade your class every 10 levels, and then there's like strength, there's speed, there's what are the other one? Magic. And one more, armor. I think armor. And so,
armor.
The stats are pretty basic. Speed kind of increases your running speed, and I think it increases your casting speed as well. And then your strength, it's like, you hit more damage, and then your armor is pretty self-explanatory. It's and then magic. What does magic do?
I believe it increases how, like, the potions that we would pick up. I think it increases how effective they are. Like with the deaths, it's just a one and done, but like for other enemies, because you know how, I don't know if you noticed, the bigger the spawn point, the bigger the enemy. And as you broke down the spawn point, the enemies would get smaller.
Okay.
And so I think if they were full size enemies, it would take one hit from the magic as you increased it, versus when you have a lower magic level, it would just defeat the smallest of the enemies.
Okay. That's interesting. I didn't. Yeah, the game doesn't really explain that mechanic, I don't think, unless maybe there's like a thing we missed reading or something in the settings. But that's interesting. Okay.
So we didn't miss it in the settings, but I do know that the actual game for whatever console, the booklet that came with it actually explained a lot, and that's how I knew that, like, when we got that fire scroll in the one level, that was used to defeat the Yeti, because the booklet actually tells you all this information.
Those booklets were super important back then. I feel like those booklets were just like so important, because it reminds me of Metal Gear Solid. So in Metal Gear Solid, like, there's a part where you have to like get a code from the back of the booklet, and if you don't have that code, you can't progress in the game. So those booklets were super important. They assumed everybody would have them, because back then you'd buy the game, you get the booklet, and you have the information. Like, you'd read the booklet on the way home while your mom's driving. You'd like read it, and
exactly.
You get that fresh booklet smell. I love that smell. Do you remember that smell?
Yes, I do. And that was like one thing about, if you ever bought a pre-owned game from GameStop, it didn't have the original case. You don't get the booklet. You just get the game.
Oh, yeah, it's not quite the same then with the smell, huh?
Oh no, new games you get the same smell, but
yeah, I love that smell, dude. I don't know what it is. That just is just like childhood memories right there, like that, the fresh pamphlet, and then you're like looking at the game, and it's like fresh and new, and then it's just like, oh man, it's just such a great feeling.
And it's got that slight laminate smell.
Yeah, and then it's like if it's a PS1 game, you would like tear off the plastic, and it's like, I don't know, and it's like that casing. I like the PS1 cases a lot. I don't know why. It makes them feel like
CDs.
Luxury, yeah, like CDs, but like luxury. I don't know. Yeah, I guess CDs are like, luxury cases. I don't know why, but
right, because they were like a hard plastic instead of the flimsier plastic of like PS2, the PS2 onward.
Yeah, I think it's that hard plastic, and it's like opening up like a diamond case or something. You're like, wow. But
yes, exactly.
Yeah, you have that little wow meme. So one thing I noticed when I was asking people about this game on the Reddits, there was a lot of people who were really talking about like wanting a remake of this game. Do you feel the same way?
Oh my god, I would love a remake, especially for like a new gen console where you can just go online. Like, keep the gameplay, just update the graphics into modern day graphics. I think it would be so great.
Okay, so like the same gameplay with modern day graphics is kind of what you would want in a remake?
Yeah, because honestly, that, and also I do think the splitting camera, like we talked about when we were playing, so like if someone gets stuck in the bottom of the screen, the entire party doesn't have to backtrack to get them unstuck.
Yeah, I think if they'd remade the game, that's one thing. Like, give us like separate cameras. So if we split up, then each of us have a separate camera, because people get stuck all the time. Like if your character, for people to imagine, for people who haven't played the game, if one of your party members is like kind of off the screen and they're stuck behind an object and the camera's moved too far up, that one party member cannot get around the object because the camera is the boundaries of where your character can go in this game. So all the other party members have to run back to like re-get their party member to go around. So it's kind of a weird mechanic they have there. But it's kind of the limitation. This is one of the first games kind of like this with co-op, so it's not like it's not like they were working with a lot. This was like it still was really fun. It's just that that one thing was kind of obnoxious with the camera. But the remake with that would be sick. I wonder if there's a mod that has that.
So like there is a mod that I found that I actually had on my game that made like an HD version. It's still like, look like an older game, but it made it look crisper.
Okay.
But could you imagine the details on like the Grim Reapers, like the deaths?
Yeah.
Like how creepy they can make those with modern graphics. You would really be afraid to awake those guys.
Yes. And you know what? The bosses would be really cool remade too. I think like the dragon boss would be so tight if you remade that. Like huge.
So you guys did make it to one of the bosses?
We made it to the Lich. We made it to the dragon. We beat the dragon. And then where we got stuck was the gate to go into the castle realm needs 12 talons. Guess what we didn't have? We had like 9 talons. So
you had to go back and get the 3 more.
That's where we stopped. We stopped right there where we're like, okay, we're tired. We're not going to backtrack and like go find these. And we started looking up cheats to see if we could get the talons, and there was no cheats for like talons or anything. So we kind of just stopped right there. But we were having fun. It's just we had to replay a lot of levels because what happens in this game is when you die, your character respawns with only a fraction of the health that they're of their max health. So it's not a lot. It's like maybe a quarter of your health, possibly. It's not very much. So like me, huh?
Oh, I was just saying, honestly, I did not die a lot in my play, like when I played through the full game with my dad, just because 2 people was much easier to go, oh, I'm low on health, you take the food for a bit until I, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, so Sunny ended up dying, and then we ended up having to like figure out a way to get Sunny back into the game, because anytime we would play a level, he was such low health that the creatures would just kill him like instantly. There was one level where we're like, okay, Sunny, be like really careful, like make sure you don't get hit, like stay in the back. And we just see this arrow fly across the screen over a wall and hit him and just kill him. We're like, where did that come from, dude? And so
poor Sunny.
Yeah, on the Lich boss, he was getting he kept getting grabbed by the Lich boss. The Lich boss would pick him up and choke him and do this little like choke slam thing on him. And I was like, dude, your character looks like a He-Man doll, because he was playing like Red Warrior. And so I kept on saying, like, don't get He-Mans, okay? Like, whatever you do, don't get He-Mans. And it was kind of funny.
So like those legendary items that we found, like the fire scroll, like I said, there's one for every boss. So like the Lich is the Holy Bible that you find somewhere in the game.
Okay.
And when you go back and fight the Lich and you have the Holy Bible, it actually will drop his health by like either a quarter or a half, like instantly.
Oh, because we were wondering, we were like, did we miss the book? Like, is the book in later levels? Is that what it is?
Yeah. That's why, like, because like the fire scroll we got, like it says, for the Yeti, which I think is on world 8 or something like that.
Oh, okay. So like the scrolls are kind of like random places then.
Yeah, like because I think it's in the level right before the Lich. There's a scroll that you pick up that gives us a message that says like, one would be foolish to fight the Lich without the good book. And that was a message saying, hey, don't fight the Lich until you find the Bible.
So this is interesting because in this game you actually
loudly don't. Up. This is so boring.
Sorry,
I'm a 3-time
virtual
gaming
pet's
champ,
going off.
not a nap time buddy.
All good.
Wake me up when the real gamers show up. Not soft kappa lol.
Keeps talking. It's so weird because in OBS I have like a different scene and the pet is on another scene, but for some reason my headset will still pick up his volume. I don't know why. Anyways, so in this game, you don't have to beat bosses in order to progress through to the next stage. All you need to do is collect so many of like a certain type of crystal or like a certain type of thing. Then you can go on to the next stages. You don't actually need to beat the bosses of that stage. So I think if you're trying to optimize your playthrough, then maybe you actually don't fight the Lich boss right away. You kind of wait until you get the book, and then you can go back and fight him. We fought him. We fought him. He's not like super hard. It's just he has a lot of health. Like he just takes a long time to kill. He's just like you're sitting there shooting him for days. And the dragon's much weaker. The dragon's health is like, goes down but quick, which was weird because I don't know why the second boss is easier. But yeah, so the bosses are kind of like optional until you get certain things to make them easier if you wanted to. Yeah, it's not necessary. You're just kind of playing the boss on hard mode, I suppose, versus like playing it on easy mode.
Yeah,
so.
And I'm assuming it was easier to defeat them with 4 people versus 2, because I think the bosses are the same no matter how many people you have.
Okay, yeah, maybe. Yeah, the Lich boss, dude, he took a while. It's not that he was like hard mechanically. He just his health pool is just really big, really, really big. The dragon did more damage, but he was faster to kill by like half, probably about half the amount of time. So
interesting.
Yeah. So let's do some fun questions. So what character class was your go-to?
The wizard. The first time I played, and then pretty much every time I picked it up again after the second playthrough with my dad, I would play wizard. Just throughout anything involving like fantasy stuff, I love to be a spellcaster, even though like it doesn't really apply too much to Gauntlet, but just the name wizard is fun.
Okay. You just do you like the way the wizard played, or was it just thematically you like the class?
Thematically, and I know once you reach level 80, you get a familiar essentially. So you get like a little pet that's on your shoulder that will shoot additional attacks when you attack. And I believe the wizard was a phoenix, so that was also pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the one thing I remember about my original playthrough, not the one that I played this last week, but when I was a kid. I played Yellow Wizard, and I remember the pet getting that pet and being like, this is sick. Like, I love this little phoenix pet. It felt strong.
And also the turbo of the wizard is pretty cool, the demon skull.
Oh, I don't what's that do?
So remember the turbos that we would use? It was like the big attack that like wiped out a whole bunch of enemies.
Oh, yeah.
I think you had to hit block and attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wizard's one is a big demon skull that just eats all the enemies.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the gestures is like a big hammer. I remember just throwing like a big hammer around or something. I actually really liked the gesture. He was fun. Like my attack speed got super high, so I was just throwing bombs like a machine gun. Like it was really fun.
Yeah,
it was fast.
I remember you kept hitting it like, can we turn off the audio because here it is, or whatever his catchphrase was.
Yeah, I don't know what he says. He's like, I just hear him going rat like every time you press the strong attack or whatever. That's like what he would make. He'd make that sound over and over. Super interesting. It was kind of funny. And then, do you have a favorite realm to play through?
So I think my favorite realm, it's later in the game. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's a yellow realm. You need the yellow crystals to get into it, and it's an Egypt-based realm. And I think that's one of my favorites to play through. And I think that was kind of like the turning point of like, okay, we're starting to get towards the end game. Stuff is starting to get harder. The like ankle biter enemies are getting harder. You can't just kick them to kill them. You actually have to use an attack to kill them. And yeah, it's just an aesthetically fun level too.
Yeah, so we didn't get that far, but I did go on YouTube and I kind of
noises, greetings, puny
virtual
humans.
pet's going off again.
Your lord and master Bebop has arrived. Let the gaming commence. Capital.
He's usually not that active, but today he is popping off. And I don't know how to shut him off. Anyways, yeah, so I looked up the levels because we didn't get that far. I wanted to see like what realms there were. We're about to do the castle realm, and then after that there's like an ice realm, and then there's that Egypt realm I think you were talking about, and then I think there's like one more. So yeah, it was interesting. The ice level seems kind of interesting. We didn't get that far. The castle realm seems cool too. I mean, they all seem like they have their own unique realms, which is pretty cool. Which boss was the hardest for you to... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, honestly, the whole game is just a cool game. That's why I like to go back to it and why I recommend it, because it's just a cool looking game, a cool game to play.
Yeah, and especially if you have people to play with. I mean, it's fine as a solo player experience, I think, but I think if you have people to play with, it's like way more fun.
100%.
Which boss was the hardest for you to fight?
Probably Scorn. I know that's kind of like a basic answer, but because essentially once you collect all the rune stones, you go fight Scorn, who's like the big bad that's introduced in the intro of the game. And he is the final boss. So, and there is no items that you can get to weaken him. Really, it's just you fight him.
Okay. Does he have pretty hard mechanics?
Not really. He just big health bar and very, very powerful attacks, like take out core your health type of attacks.
Oh.
And you're fighting him when you're like level 80, 90.
There's no healing in this game, right? Like, you don't get any healing spells through any characters?
I think there is. I think someone does, because I remember the wizard that when the wizard reached a certain level, when they used magic around food, you could make poison food not be you could like restore poison food. I know it's not necessarily the same thing as a healing spell, but I think there might be a character that can, when they reach high enough level, heal others using the magic potions.
Oh, okay. So there, yeah, in a way, in a roundabout way, there's kind of a healer. Okay.
Yeah.
Then, what's the funniest thing that happens in one of your runs? Do you have any good memories?
Well, so yes, there's an item. It's a Pojo egg, and it like on the board, it's just an egg. You pick it up, and when you activate that item, you just turn into a chicken.
Oh.
And
okay.
You're a chicken for a limited amount of time, and you just wander around spitting like fireballs, I think. And it's just chaotic fun to see a chicken running around this map full of these undead creatures and stuff, just spitting out fireballs. And of course, every time it shoots, it balks.
Does it change your stats at all, or are you like the same power?
Yeah, it pretty much all your stats stay the same. Just you're Pojo the chicken, not Green Wizard or Green Jester anymore. So like I don't think you can use turbos, and I think it's literally just that one melee attack of shooting the fireball.
Okay. That's funny. I actually was wondering about Pojo. I was like, what is that? Like, what is a Pojo?
It's literally a chicken that you turn into. And in the game, I believe if you name your character Pojo, then I can't remember if it's Pojo or Pojo Egg, but if you name your character that, you're just permanently Pojo.
You're just a chicken forever. That's though.
Yeah, like
okay.
you choose whatever character, but then when you start the game, you're just Pojo.
Yeah, so that's how the cheats work in this game too. Is that you don't just type in a cheat code. You got to go, at least for the console versions, you have to like rename your character in order to get the cheat activated. So it's not as simple as renaming. You have to create a character that has that name, and then you have the cheat activated, and then you go through that.
Clever way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. It's not like you can do multiple cheats at once unless you have multiple players. You only can really do one per profile. So you kind of choose your, like, if you're going to cheat, you choose like what you're going to do.
Right. And because I played the game when I was younger, I wanted to be Pojo the chicken because I thought that was the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty funny. I mean, being a little chicken's funny. If let's see, which power up was your absolute favorite to grab?
So the absolute favorite would probably be the hammer. It looks like Thor's hammer. You have 3 uses on it, and when you smack it, it pretty much wipes out everything on screen.
Oh, okay. Oh no, go ahead. You got to get some water or something. But yeah, the hammer. I actually don't know if I actually ever used the hammer, but that's I've seen it. I did see it on the map. I just don't think I ever used it.
I don't think you used it. I know I used it in one of our playthroughs, and then we had to reset the game because it crashed. But I think Ariok or Sunny had grabbed it the second time around.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think actually Sunny used that many items. I think he used like Levitate once and then maybe a couple potions. I mean, I saved a lot of my items for the bosses too, so I kind of get that. Like, I pretty much used most of my items on the bosses.
Yeah. And then any of the breath items were always my favorite. Just being able to breathe whatever item you grab, be it acid, fire, lightning. Lightning was pretty cool.
Yeah, the breaths were really strong, and they would like do a lot of damage. Do you have a favorite cheesy voice line from the announcer?
I think it's just the congratulations whenever you like collect a runestone or something and the wizard comes on, he's like, congratulations.
Yeah, I remember that. Congratulations, you have found a runestone, or whatever he says.
Yeah, or like, congratulations, you found the fire scroll.
What does he say when people are like low on health? He's like, Red Warrior needs food badly, or something like that.
That's exactly what he says.
Yeah, and so like people, I guess that becomes a meme for some people. Somebody on Reddit was telling me a story about their mom being like the blue wizard, and it became a meme in their household that it was like, Blue Wizard needs food badly. Like that, they would just go around saying that because I guess their mom was always low on health all the time. So it's kind of interesting. The announcer is very memorable. If you play this game, you'll remember the announcer's voice. It's just like something that sticks in your head. So
learn to block.
I never blocked. I mean, I tried, but I sucked at it.
Yeah, no, I would never block. And I got that message a few times in the beginning.
Yeah, I don't think you need to block in order to beat this game. It probably might be helpful with certain bosses, and certain mechanics, possibly.
Maybe. I don't think I ever blocked once in that game.
Yeah, it's not really necessary. It's kind of a weird, like, I don't want to say useless mechanic, but it's just not needed. So we'll go into the good, the bad, and the mixed feeling in my review about the game. I played it over the last week. We got to play it multiplayer, thankfully, and I noticed some good things. I noticed some bad things. So we're going to go over some of those points as I do in every episode. So with the first good point that I wanted to kind of say was that, and we kind of mentioned this before. There's a lot of stuff we mentioned, but this is one of the things we mentioned was that the cooperative gameplay was really fun. Like this game is like a game that is just so good for couch co-op if you can manage it. I mean, it's fine the way we played it, but you might get some technical errors, unfortunately, just due to like hardware limitations and stuff like that. But it's such a good co-op game. If you have a household full of people, like you have kids or you have like a wife who plays games or a girlfriend, then it's a really fun game for everyone to sit down and just like, you don't have to think very hard. It's not like a hard thinking game. You just kind of run around, you're killing stuff. You kind of like look for secret doors if you can, but it's not like a game that has like super hard puzzles or anything. It's just a really clean, good cooperative game. Do you feel the same way about that, or?
Yes, I do 100%. Like, it definitely a fun. You sit down, dungeon crawl, kill, and also if there's the meme of like, if video games have taught me anything, this is a secret passage. That meme is embodied so much in that game of like the miscolored wall being breakable.
Oh yeah, yep. Yeah, I found myself in this game shooting walls sometimes just to see if like it would do that little highlight. Like if you shoot a secret wall in this game, it will highlight like you're doing damage. So I sometimes I would shoot around just to see if I would like hit something, Oh
yeah, and there's so many things that are quick, easy misses. Like you walk by it not expecting it, and you miss a switch that'll raise a chest that might give you extra gold or whatever.
Yeah, and as you learn in this game, as I did the hard way, is that you're going to want secret stuff because otherwise you're getting locked out of doorways. Like the talons. You're going to want the talons, or the fangs, I should say. You're going to want later on you need feathers. Later on you need this. Like, you kind of want to take your time in these levels. You don't really want to charge all the way through them because otherwise you're going to end up having to like backtrack a little bit, which is like, you could say that's a negative or a positive. You could say that as a positive in the fact that the game forces you to explore and it forces you to find the hidden stuff. And you could say it's a negative because if you miss something, then you're backtracking. How do you feel about this mechanic?
I think it's a great way to, like you said, there's not a lot of puzzles in the game, but it is I think it just adds another layer and another layer to the game, and also another layer of playability or replayability, should I say?
Yeah,
because like there's levels that I have played through multiple times that I still am not sure where certain switches are.
Can I ask you? So, like, we were missing the fangs. Can we go to any realm to get those fangs, or are they in specific locations that we need to like find?
You can go anywhere. So like I think there's a pair of fangs in the very first level, and basically you can go back and replay that level and get you'll get another fang, even though like you collect it the first time through, you can collect it again and that'll add to your total.
Okay. I like that a lot better, because if they were just like in specific locations that I had to go like refine, that would have been super annoying.
Yeah, usually the like golems drop them or they're hidden somewhere.
Yeah, the dragon-like creatures. Yeah, I noticed they do drop them. I couldn't remember what levels or like where to go to find those those bad guys.
Yeah, there's generally at least one in a level, I think. And the same goes for like the crystals too. If you don't have enough crystals to get into an area, you can just go replay a level and collect more crystals.
Yeah, so in a weird way, this game is not in a weird way, but this game is also, aside from being like an action RPG, it is kind of a collectathon in a way. It's not as bad as like something like Banjo-Kazooie or something like Donkey Kong 64, but you do need to like collect things. You need to collect crystals in order to unlock levels. You need to collect like special things like the fangs and the feathers. You need to keep your eye open. You need to kind of be a little aware. So even though you can kind of turn your mind off when it comes to killing bad guys, because that's pretty, it's pretty simple, you need to be aware about your surroundings. Like, is there a switch over here? Like, is there, I see I can see this runestone down at the bottom of the waterfall. Like, how do I get to that runestone? You need to think about that.
Yeah, the runestones are in specific levels. That's the one item that is in specific spots.
Yeah, and I don't know if we missed any. I think we got all the ones that we could. Is there a runestone per realm, or?
No, it's not one per realm exactly, because I think there's two. Basically, the only way to know if you missed any is you beat all the realms, then you go to fight Scorn, and you're missing a runestone, and then you go, great, where is that?
Okay, that would make me mad. So, it wouldn't make me mad if they had a hint. So if they're like, you missed a runestone in the castle realm, if they said something like that, I'd be like, okay, level 3, there's something special waiting for you there. You need to go, it's like, okay, I can do that. But like just randomly being like, you need a walkthrough or something.
Yeah, which thankfully we have the internet now, so you can easily look it up. But I think that the in-game scrolls that you collect if there's a runestone in the level, it will kind of give you a hint of, hey, there's a runestone here. Don't leave this level till you find it. Okay.
Yeah. Then the scrolls they're kind of cryptic. They're usually like, they're riddles, but they're not hard riddles. But you do have to like pay attention to what they're saying in order to like optimally beat a level or find certain special items. It'll be like, I don't know, like an example is something like, you don't need to open all the gates in order to get through the level, or like, I don't remember exactly what, they would say, but it would tell you like a small riddle or a hint, and you want to pay attention to what it's saying.
Yeah. Like my favorite one that like we encountered when we played together was the scroll that said, the path of the righteous to the right will be gifted with treasure or something. And
yeah.
And you just ran up and unlocked whatever the first chest, which was on the left, and it was the bomb which blew up the chest to the right, which had the treasure.
Yeah, so everybody was paying attention to the scroll, and I wasn't. I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. Like, we got a scroll. That's great." And then I would go up, and the scroll specifically talking about two chests that are next, right and left of each other. I just didn't even think about it. I opened the first chest I see, and sure enough, it's a bomb, and everyone's like, "Ah, like, come on."
Like it said the right one.
Yeah, so sometimes you get dumbos like me in your party who just don't think about stuff, and they can kind of ruin stuff. But yeah, that was funny. Then, so one of the bad points that I had, and we kind of mentioned this earlier too, was the cameras. The camera angles is one thing. Like, so, like, for example, sometimes the camera angle will be at a weird angle where you can't really see what, like, around the corner or like where you need to see in order to, like, I don't know. So it'd get a little funky sometimes with 4 players on the screen. Like, you're like, where am I looking at? You know, like, how am I supposed to? And then we mentioned the fact that there's only one camera, so everybody gets stuck, and there's no way for players to split up. So it's a game where that's just a time, I think, just because of how old it is. I don't know of any games its age that you have 4-player co-op and each person has a separate camera. I don't even know of any games that do that around that era. There might be, and I'm just not thinking of it, but it wasn't common.
Yeah, none that I can think of. But actually, when you mentioned that, I did think of one thing that would kind of be positive of why you can't why it doesn't split off cameras.
Yeah.
Because what if you have a loot goblin? Now this loot goblin's going through the level, collecting all the loot, and you guys are back fighting all the enemies.
It's a way to keep loot goblins in check. You're like, no, you don't get to go. No.
You gotta wait for us.
Yeah. I mean, that is one positive. And, you know, you could also say the positive, you know, I could hear people screaming at me saying this already. It forces everybody to work together in a party. You know, I can already hear people telling me that. Like, I just can hear it in my head. Like, that's what games are missing these days. And it's like, okay, I get it. But it's nice. It's nice not getting stuck behind stuff. I think that's my main complaint, is that people get stuck and then it's like you got to go back. I don't think you have to,
especially if it's like 1 pixel off. Like, you're stuck by 1 pixel and it's like, come on, can I just get past this one spot?
Yes, please, just let me past. You know, maybe there's a way they could remedy that without splitting everybody up too far, but there needs to be some sort of way people can get around stuff. And I would love them. I doubt anybody made one like that. Maybe. You know what? Modders surprised me. Modders really surprised me, so maybe.
And actually, bad that I just thought of that you kind of touched on it, of you kind of lose yourself in the level, is we kind of talked about it when we were playing, of like, me and you were green characters and the first level is a very green level, so sometimes we got lost in the environment.
Yes, that was kind of I wish there was like maybe a silhouette around players, so like, you know, in some games you have this little like highlighted neon silhouette around your character so you don't really lose yourself. In Gauntlet, there isn't that. You just have your character and they can blend in with the environment sometimes. And me being colorblind, like it can be pretty rough at certain points where I'm like, who am I? Where am I? But it wasn't so bad. It would happen once in a while where I'm like, okay, I have to like really pay attention to where my character is. If I look over here, you know, then I got to like look back and make sure I know where I'm at. It happened a few times though, where I blended in pretty good with the environment.
Yeah.
Then I love the fact that this is a good point. I love the fact that your character changes every 10 levels. It makes you really have something to look forward to. I don't know if there's ever a point where your character stops like changing after every 10 levels, but at least level 10, level 20, level 30, your character 100% changes. So like they'll start as a prankster and then they'll turn into a joker and then they'll turn into this and then they'll turn into this. And your character looks a lot cooler when they level up. They like get new gear, they become stronger, their abilities look different. It's a really cool mechanic. How do you feel about that mechanic?
I think it's a cool mechanic because like I said, I had an HD patch for my game, and so it was a lot easier to see the differences on the wizard when I reached level 10. Like, I noticed I got more like bangles and like gold stuff to make it look cooler. And also, like we kind of mentioned, once you hit, I think, like level 80, you get that pet as well.
Oh, is it level 80 you get another pet?
I thought level 80 was when you got the first pet. And I think the pet also, maybe it's a lower level, but also every 10 levels, your pet also upgrades.
Yeah, I don't remember. I thought the wizard got something at level 30, like a phoenix, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was 80. But I do remember that.
Maybe it was 30. I don't remember.
Stretches and curls up, wake me up.
We'll just have to keep playing and find out the true level.
Capilol.
it. I'm gonna choke that virtual pet out. That thing, I don't know. Anyways, so another bad point I would say is that when you die, and we kind of mentioned this earlier, is that you return with super low health. I didn't really say whether it was bad or good. I don't really like that. I wish it would return you with at least half health. I feel like it's kind of punishing where it's like you die on a boss and you don't get to just try it over again. You have to like go back to a level and you have to like get health, or you have to get gold so you can buy health, and you have to like re-farm up. How do you feel about it? You don't mind, but you didn't die a lot, but do you like it?
But I do agree with you of at least give me half health back.
Yeah. Like half is
and
good.
One reason I think I also didn't die a lot is because at the end of every stage when you can purchase stuff, me and my dad had talked about it and it was like, okay, buy food to get you back to max health, and then spend gold on whatever else. It's like, so we went into most levels pretty much at full health.
That's what we started doing. So like when we finally got desperate, we just started buying food. We're like, okay, we're spending it on food first. Get to about max health, get to about 1,000 health or whatever we were at. Then we can buy like the level ups and whatever else you want.
Yeah.
Because when I first started, I was just right out the gate. I was just buying the stats, like right off. I'm like, oh yeah, I want stats. Like that's like I want to get stronger. But then it's like, oh well, you're not going to survive.
I do remember that. Like you guys were going, ooh, look at all these items, and just because again that was a strategy I was used to using. I'm just sitting here buying food. Like, yep, you guys buy your fancy stuff. I'm going to buy my food and be good on health when we go to the next level.
Yeah, we learned that the hard way. We're like, oh, you have to buy health in this game. Otherwise, you're going to have a rough time.
Bad.
No, it's, lesson learned. We got to learn. Another good point is that the realm, I like the fact that the realms have different themes. I like that, you start off in like the graveyard or whatever you want to call it. And then you go into what is it, like a volcano or something? Like a
mountain.
The mountain. And then you go into the castle realm and you go into the ice realm. And it's kind of cool that they have different biomes, so you get to experience like a different area each time. And I thought that was a really nice little touch to the game. They could have kept it simple and just gave you the same type of level over and over, but they didn't. They were like, oh, it's going to look different. You're going to get these different colors, these different bosses, these different bad guys. And so each realm has its own unique thing to present to you.
Exactly. And I felt that was a great thing about the game, is because it felt like the game progressed. It wasn't just, oh, I'm playing the same level over and over again.
Exactly. Like you felt like you're making progression through every 10 levels. Your character gets to a new class, and then you get to a new realm. It's like the game makes you feel rewarded for playing it, for sure. And I think that's something that makes this game addicting.
Yes, 100%. Like I, been very busy at work, but I've been like, when can I play Gauntlet again? I want to play Gauntlet.
Yeah, and I don't think the combat is necessarily addicting. I mean, it is addicting in the fact that it's like you just get to kill hordes of monsters, kind of like Diablo, where you kill hordes of monsters. Some people just love that stuff, but it's more, I think that the progression is what addicts me. Like I get to, I'm like, ooh, next 2 levels, I get the new class. Like, oh, that's like, I really like leveling up my character every 10 levels. I thought that was like super fun for me to see what my next class was, see how powerful I got.
Yeah. Or it's like, ooh, okay, I have 80 red crystals. I only need 20 more. And I think I can get them in the next level. Let me get into this level so I can get the rest of the crystals so I can unlock the mountain.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And so that in that way, it's very addicting. I think another good point that I had down was that the bosses were really cool. I think the bosses actually were pretty unique for being a arcade console game. They each had their own unique mechanics. They weren't like just, I wouldn't say they're super complex or anything, but they were unique and they were each fun, and they each had their own strategy on how to beat them. So I thought the bosses were very cool. I don't know, I didn't get that far, but I can't imagine what the future bosses are. Are they still pretty unique and cool?
Yeah, like I remember there was one where it was like a spider queen. Classic what you think of a spider queen, body of a spider, torso of a woman.
Oh, kind of like
I think
what's her name from League of Legends? I forget.
could not tell you.
Yeah, it's a super popular character. Anyways,
And I feel there was a mummy in the Egyptian one, just because that makes sense.
yeah, that makes sense. Like a mummy or like a tombed pharaoh or something like that.
It was something like that.
Yeah. So, what was the boss on the ice level? Yeti? You said?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
okay.
that's the... Yeah, so there's Genie, Shadow Wraith, which is the Spider Woman. Or, no. Sorry, I looked them up, and the images are not matching the whatchamacallit, the bosses, because the Shadow Wraith shows the Spider Woman and the Spider shows the Yeti.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there's a Chimera, there was the dragon, a genie, a plague fiend. So there's a lot.
There's a lot. Yeah, the game's actually kind of long. It's not super short. I mean, what do you want to say? Like, if you're inexperienced, 20 hours?
I'd say probably 25, 30.
Okay, even
especially
longer.
if you do like if you do it the way it's supposed to, where you collect the items, then you go back and fight the boss after you beat the 4 previous levels.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so the game it's a pretty long game for being this type of hack and slash ARPG type of game. You'd think it was shorter based on like when you first see it, you're like, oh, this is gonna be a short game, 10 hours. No, it's got some time into it. It's you can put some time into this game. Now,
yeah, and there's 10 main bosses.
10. That's actually, yeah, that's a good amount. We only beat 2, so we're only like a fifth of a third of the game. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Now there's a Gauntlet on Steam, and it's like but it's not Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Do you know anything about that game?
No, I've not poked around on Steam too much, to be honest. I'm very much a console gamer.
Okay, the only reason I asked was because I wanted to know if there were like what the differences were, because people are asking for that remake for this game, but I saw that on Steam and I was like, oh, is this a remake? But it looks different. It's not quite the same, but it's got that kind of same gameplay-ish. Just it's not, but it doesn't seem to hit that same feel, at least from what I was looking at. So that's why I was asking. Yeah.
I looked it up and it looks closer to Seven Sorrows, which was another Gauntlet game that came out after Dark Legacy that didn't have the same feel as Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Because like Seven Sorrows, there was less classes and it just wasn't not as cool of a game as Dark Legacy. I think Dark Legacy is like the pinnacle Gauntlet game.
Yeah. I think so. I think it's the most popular one that I know of out of all of them. I didn't know of any other ones really besides Dark Legacy. I was like, this is the game, you know? So
yeah,
let's go
definitely.
we'll go into our final thoughts in rating the game. You know, before we do that, do you have any final thoughts that you wanted to add?
If you can find a way to emulate the game and play it.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah,
I think everyone should experience it.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a game you should experience. I think if you can find a hard copy, cool, but I don't. Good luck. I mean, maybe eBay or is something like that. You might be able to find one. I wonder how much they're going on eBay for. Out of curiosity, I kind of want to look it up. Like Gauntlet.
I'm curious, and if it's, let me know how much, because I have one. So if anyone looking.
So this one's pre-owned $25. This one is pre-owned $40. Excellent refurbished $54. So you're looking to spend probably at least $30 or so to get a used copy of the Gauntlet Dark Legacy, which is
it's not bad.
Almost the same amount as it was new, but back in the day, I wonder what it was. Probably about $30. You think when it first was
probably
new? Something like that. Yeah. So
yeah, I can't remember.
Final thoughts. Well, actually, before we do my final thoughts, what would you rate this game at 1 out of 10? Or no? Well, how many? You said there's 10. Yeah, there's 10 biomes. Yeah, 1 out of 10. Perfect. 10 biomes.
Yeah.
How many?
Probably like a 7 or an 8. Like I said, it's a great game that has a lot of replayability because you can choose different characters. There's the like I said, there's stuff hidden in levels that you might miss your first time around. And because of leveling up the characters throughout the game, if you play a different character each time, you get to experience cool new stuff that you didn't the first time through. And also, it's a big game that you can sit and play for a while with friends and family.
What keeps this game from having a perfect score, you would say?
I'd probably have to say, probably just the few things we mentioned of like the getting stuck part, and that when the game was initially out, the availability to play with all 4 players was probably the limitations that didn't give it probably like the 9 or 10.
Okay, nice. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Final thoughts here. So I had a really good time playing with you guys this last week. I really did. I had a good time playing with Ariok and you and Sunny, and we each had it's kind of funny because when you get players together, everybody has their own way of playing a game, and we all kind of make that work with each other. We're like, okay, like some of us like to like go off and like do our own thing, and then some of us are like helping each other. Some of us are looking for hidden stuff, and it's really fun, like getting those synergies, together. And this game was just a good time. None of us had to try hard. We didn't have to learn like complex mechanics. We pretty much learned the game through the first couple levels, like, how to use potions, how to use items and stuff like that. It was very fun, just very simple, very fun. I love like I said, I love the fact that you progress every 10 levels. I love, putting stats and getting new stats and upgrading my speed stats so I even go faster. Like I throw my items faster. I love the RPG elements of the game. I think that, the only downsides, like what you kind of said, was the camera thing and getting stuck. And it's unfortunately, I don't want to say it's a big downside. I would say it's a medium downside. It's not like huge. It's not game breaking, but it's annoying. And then sometimes I wish some loot was shared more, or like you could, if you accidentally picked up an item, then maybe somehow you could give it to another player. That would be kind of nice. So there's kind of like just small stuff that I kind of wish, or like you give your gold to another player. I think that would be really cool, but that doesn't seem possible in this game. However, considering all that,
valid points.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was originally an arcade game, so it's gonna have some of those things where it feels arcadey. That's just gonna be normal. I really enjoyed it though. Like I really had a good time, and this game hasn't really aged that much. Like I didn't go back and I was like, oh dude, this is like, these mechanics are horrible. I went back and I was like, you know what? This is pretty much how I remember it. I don't remember it being any worse or any better than it was. So that was pleasant. So considering all that I've said, I would probably give this game like a solid 8 out of 10. I think. And that's cooperative play. We're talking cooperative play. Solo play, it might be lower because you're gonna get bored. I think just playing by yourself, like a 6 out of 10. But cooperative play, like 8 out of 10. It's good. It's not perfect. It's got these little flaws. It's got these little things going on, and that are annoying. And if we were able to play on a couch co-op, it would have even been better. That if we didn't have all the technical issues we were having. But that's not the game's fault.
We could have probably played for hours.
That's not the game's fault. that's the fault of the technology. So yeah, good, solid 8 out of 10 game. It's not perfect. It's some things on the combat could probably be a little more interesting in certain parts, and the graphics could be updated. But it's good. It's good. It's very good. So that being said, should people reload the game? 100%. Reload this game. Put it in. Get some friends together if you can. Dolphin has a net play. There's even YouTube tutorials on how to do the net play. Super simple, not very complicated. Get it together. Have fun with your friends. Have a good time. Make sure you saved after every level because the game crashes sometimes on Dolphin. But very, very good. I'm very happy that you submitted this game. I'm glad I got to revisit it. And I want to progress my character to level 99 if I can at some point. That would be kind of cool.
I'm glad that you were happy with revisiting it.
Yeah, good pick, man. Very good pick. last week I felt bad because it was Comic Zone, and Comic Zone was it. I'm not going to say too much because if people haven't heard that Comic Zone episode, I don't want to spoil it, but it was a different reaction. Now let's go into the riddle for next week's game, and then we're going to go into your socials. So the riddle for next week's game: a knight in shining armor, caught inside a frame, animated peril, danger's always name. One wrong move and the tale will end. Quick reflexes, brave heart. Can you save the friend? Do you know what game this is?
It's funny. My first thought was like, oh, it's a Zelda game, but I feel that's too broad.
It kind of does sound like a Zelda game, huh? But a knight in shining armor, so not quite. Knight in shining armor, caught inside a frame.
That beginning part is the one part is like, no, it can't be Zelda.
Yeah, it'd be like Green Boy or something, like Green Tunic Boy or something. Yeah, so this is an older game. I'll give a couple hints, and for you and the audience, because they're also guessing. It was released in 1983 for arcades originally, and it was created by Rick Dyer and Don Bluth. So it's an old game. This is it. So imagine what an old game could be. It can't be that many because there's not that many games out by this time.
Right.
1983 is I think this is going to be the oldest game I played on the podcast. I don't think I've played anything older than this so far. I didn't, to be fair, I didn't know the game either. So, we'll just go ahead and give the answer. The game is called,
I can't get it.
The game is called Dragon's Lair. Have you ever heard of this?
Yes, I have. As soon as I'm like, oh, I've heard of that game.
Yeah. So it's I guess it's like a story progression game where you make decisions and your character can die based on those decisions or not. So I heard there's a lot of comedy and humor in it. It was actually submitted by Tetra Folly via the Retro roster. So thank you, Tetra, for submitting this game. I know you submitted it a little while ago, but we're finally getting around to playing it. So I'm interested in playing it. I think I'm going to get some laughs out of this one.
Sounds like it's going to be a good game.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder how long it is. I wouldn't even know. Yeah, it could be either really long or really short. I feel like it's going to be one of those two.
And is that an Atari game?
No, I think it's the PC actually. I think it was Dragon's Lair for the PC. That's
okay.
That's cool. What was on the retro roster. So not Atari. As old as that is, it could have been an Atari for sure. So yeah, awesome. So now, again, thank you, Jaymz, for being on the podcast. I want to give you the opportunity to plug your socials. I know you also run a Marvel podcast, and if you want to talk about that.
First, thank you for having me. This was a great time to revisit Gauntlet, one of my favorite retro games. And I run a Marvel podcast called The Marvel Podcast for Gifted Listeners. I cover everything from comic characters to storylines to Marvel history as a company. The last episode I just did was, that's a Marvel Comics, and it was all about obscure IPs that are technically under Marvel's banner.
Has arrived. Now let's see who dares challenge my gaming prowess.
You can find the podcast on YouTube or any of the major podcast platforms.
Yeah, so I know you're on YouTube, you're on Spotify, you're on, I'm guessing Apple Podcasts too?
Yes, and Amazon Music.
I listen to you on Spotify, and I've heard a couple of your episodes. Jaymz is super knowledgeable about Marvel stuff. I'm guessing this has been something that you kind of grew up with, reading comics and all that stuff like that?
Very much, yes. And if you've ever been around me for any time in real life and Marvel comes up, people know that I will have the answer.
Great. Yeah. So can you give us that link one more time just so they know?
Yeah. So the name is The Marvel Podcast for Gifted Listeners. And the Instagram for that is going to be TMPFGL. And
Awesome.
there will be links off the Instagram bio.
Yeah, and I'll make sure to link it on Patreon and under this episode if you're on Spotify, or if you're listening on Spotify or anywhere else. You'll be able to find Jaymz's link. Go, if you like Marvel stuff and you like comics, go listen to it. It's really cool. You get to learn a lot about your favorite Marvel characters and stories, and even development and stuff like that. So thank you again, Jaymz. I appreciate you coming on.
And thank you. It was a blast.
Well, folks, that's game over for this episode of Retro Reloaded. Thanks for joining me on this retro adventure. If you loved today's trip down memory lane, then consider helping me keep the nostalgia alive by supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/retro reloaded. You'll get early episodes, bonus content, and a chance to pick the next game that we reload. Feel free to let me know your thoughts about the podcast, and until next time, keep those controllers charged.